Hi, happy Halloween week. And this year for Halloween, I wanted to do something special. I figured, let's rank some movies. It's like this. I know I could rank the Halloween movies, but every year I watch the Scream movies. I watched all the Halloween movies this year also. Well, Halloween 1 through Resurrection, then 2018, that is. Then I stopped. And I'm just feeling it. I want to rank the Scream movies. Scream movies are special to me. And that's a spoiler warning. If you haven't seen the Scream movies, you probably shouldn't watch this. I'm going to talk about characters, motivations, killers, kills, ghost face reveals. I mean, even if you think, hey, but I don't care, you might if you give Scream a shot. I'm not going to use as much footage of the trailers of the movies as I want to, because Scream movies are notorious for copyright strikes. It's really annoying. So I might use some sparingly, but for the most part, you're going to have to rely on my voice. Sorry. And these aren't going to be reviews of the Scream movies. I already have reviews of the Scream movies on my channel. Though in this video, I'm probably going to prattle on for long enough on each Scream movie for them to be reviews of the Scream movies. It's just me listing them from worst to best, because, you know, you got to keep the tension up. Though the end of this is going to be more obvious than the ending of Scream 6. This thing about franchises, you know, they feel like living, breathing things, because as you age, certain movies, certain installments can change spots. So, you know, that's always fun. Still going to do the countdown, though, for dramatic effect. So yeah, these are the Scream movies as I rank them from worst to best, starting with number 6. Coming in at number 6 is Scream 3, the conclusion of the trilogy that wasn't written by Kevin Williamson, and it shows. It's a Scream movie that felt different than its predecessors. In fact, it feels very different from any of the Scream movies. Scream has always mixed comedic energy with slasher horror very well. Scream 3 feels like a Scream comedy. Funny enough, Scream was initially going to be called Scary Movie. Scream 3 more embodies that concept. As Scream movies, and well, movies in general, are a product of their time, Scream 3 is a product of a very narrow time, called the year 2000. Not 2001, not 1999. 2000 in particular. When the pressure was on to not have too much violence in your movies, there were some cool things in it. You know, Scream's always played with the tropes of horror movies. You know, the killer's immortal. You gotta shoot him in the head. That's been discussed before. In fact, even shown before. But in Scream 3, you decidedly have to, because the Ghostface killer is wearing a bulletproof vest. That was a cool real-world way to have the killer be immortal. But the edited violence makes all the Ghostface killings just feel lackluster or really convenient, like when the fax machine's spitting out Ghostface clues. The guy lights the lighter and says, oh, the next one to die is gonna be the one who smells the gas. It's like, oh, and it all blows up, the house blows up. What if he didn't light a lighter? What if he just aimed it towards the moonlight or something? There are a lot of variables there for a Ghostface killer. I feel like Roman's not the smartest one. And I get what it's going for when pulling from another horror movie or a franchise. The killer's the brother of the protagonist, very Halloween too. I have to humor the idea that Scream is a part of the View Askew universe. Because there's a Jay and Silent Bob cameo. Not a Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith cameo. Jay and Silent Bob, their characters. It does stand out in a way where Scream 3 is the only Scream in which there's one Ghostface killer, but I do hold to my theory that Detective Kincaid was actually the second Ghostface killer. He just got soft on Sidney. Then Roman died, and no one could out him, so he just kind of got away. But hey, that's just my theory. Number 5. Next up, we have the latest Scream movie to come out, Scream 6. I'll say this about, I'm not really burying the lead there, because this does pertain to Scream 5 when I talk about it too, but Scream 5 and 6, the Ghostface killings, Ghostface is an asshole in these movies. I mean, yeah, that's always the case, but he's just more sinister here. The biggest thing that bothers me in this movie is Scream. I mean, this happens in any horror franchise that sticks to the same formula every time. Scream, slasher, whodunits. But at this point in Scream, it's not who done it. It's not who is the Ghostface killer. It's why are they the Ghostface killer? Because it's pretty apparent at this point. Who are the new people? Ghostface killer. It is in fact so obvious in this movie when they're like, you? Dude was like, of course me. I mean, props for leaning into it, but still. The horror movie parallel I see here with the Ghostface reveal, other than the fact that I kind of felt like I'd seen it before, it's the parent of the previous killer getting revenge. Only this time he's working with, oh, not just one kid, but 2 kids. There are 3 Ghostface killers. It's like it feels like it needs to outdo the previous Scream movies by giving more Ghostface killers. Thing is, the son, I was like, what was his name again? The Ghostface killers in this movie didn't stand out to me. They're just forgettable people. But the Ghostface reveal is a big deal. This one had more, but felt like less. This one kind of felt like I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, with the dad working with the son, but also the daughter in Scream 6. People gave this movie shit for shotgun Ghostface. Ghostface using a gun doesn't bother me. There have been other Ghostface killers who have used guns. Granted, not while in the Ghostface mask, it's post-reveal. I feel like this guy was just ahead of the curve. I enjoyed the setting in New York. It makes it feel newer. We're in the city. Granted, granted, we're in Los Angeles in Scream 3, so there's that. The best part of Scream 6, by a long shot for me, it's enough to make the movie, is the cut to title after that line. There's a Ghostface kill, then Ghostface just reveals himself. Then he goes home, and then the real Ghostface is gonna be the Ghostface in the movie, calls him, stabs the shit out of him, and the dude says, "We have to finish the movie." And Ghostface goes, "Who gives a fuck about movies?" Wham! Cut to title. I was like, wow, that's so not a Ghostface thing to say. That said, he doesn't care about movies, so it's personal. Family member? Okay, family member. And the Ghostface mask being all cracked and messed up, I like that. That was cool, though they did pull that from the 2018 Halloween. This movie is a celebration of previous Scream movies, but it does come across as nostalgia bait celebration of Scream movies that have come before. Number 4. Next up is Scream 5, or Scream as it's called. It's just called Scream. So the gap between Scream 3 and Scream 4 is the same amount of time between Scream 4 and Scream 5. Both operate on a very simple premise. New decade, new rules, though that was the tagline of Scream 4 in particular. But it does translate to Scream 5. Franchises were different, and the movie plays off of that. I already addressed the fact that Ghostface, from this point on, just felt meaner, and I dug that. The way Ghostface acts, the way it's lit, the way it's shot, it feels like two different Scream franchises, or two different branches on the Scream tree. You got the Wes Craven Screams, and you got 5 and 6. Sometimes the film feels derivative, but that is a strength of Scream. Anytime it does, the movie itself addresses that to the audience, just kind of plays on it. That's a distinct advantage Scream does have. The thing that pisses me off in this movie is I felt like they did Dewey dirty. The Dewey death itself, I get why it had to happen. It was pretty effective. You also see it coming a mile away from when he's in here. But Dewey and Gale got married at the end of Scream 3. They were still married in Scream 4. And now they're divorced. He's a miserable alcoholic. I guess he left her in the middle of the night or something. I mean, they just didn't have to do Dewey dirty like that. Do Dewey dirty. Do Dewey dirty. That's hard to say. Dewey was the guy who always showed up, not the guy who leaves his wife in the middle of the night and crawls into a bottle. Now, as time goes on, it's just bothers me more and more. They do incorporate Sidney Prescott and Gale Weathers, but having Neve Campbell in this movie does feel like, hey, we need you in this movie to sell the passing of the torch thing. But I do dig the fact that the protagonist in this movie is Billy Loomis's daughter. I gotta be honest, the new crew in the new Scream movies, Scream 5 and 6, the core 4 as they call themselves, they never clicked with me like the OG crew did. I don't know if that's a generational thing, like I got my Scream crew and no one will fill that cup ever. Or maybe it's the fact that Mindy comes across as a callous dick sometimes. When she's filling the Randy void, given the rules of the horror movie and the requel, cool. Other times I'm like, wow, you really don't care. Are you rooting for Ghostface? I can see it being a generational thing. That's why I'm curious, like maybe my younger viewers are like, yeah, this is my Scream movie, these are my Scream stories, and this is my Scream crew. Core 4. Let me know. Number 3. Next up, Scream 4. This is a movie I was against when it was coming out. I was like, this movie's forced, it's gonna be bullshit, it is bullshit. But given time, I really came to appreciate the whole thing. It's director Wes Craven and writer Kevin Williamson giving us what I've come to see as the true conclusion of the Scream trilogy. A decade later, new decade, new rules. It's all about streaming now, recording the kills. YouTube was a full-fledged platform. I feel like Wes Craven has always had that eye of where the zeitgeist is going. The killers trying to get social media fame is a motivation that just makes sense to me. And to build off what I said before, I appreciate that this movie kind of broke the Gale Weathers mold. It's kind of a tradition. Every Scream movie starts out with Gale Weathers being hated, either by Dewey or more people, and then through the course of the film, people warm up to her, then she helps save the day. Then something happens in between that movie and the sequel in which, that's right, next movie starts out, Gale Weathers is hated by people, and through the course of the film, people start warming up to her, she helps save the day. It's kind of a rinse and repeat, self-contained Gale Weathers redemption arc in every Scream movie, except Scream 4. Sidney even says in an interview in Scream 4 she doesn't hate Gale Weathers. Her and Dewey have been married for 10 years. There's a bit of tension between Officer Judy and her, but that's it. I appreciate that Wes Craven was like, happily ever after does exist, even in Scream. Until Scream 5. This also did a good job at introducing a new generation, but also incorporating the previous generation. It's still revolving around Sidney Prescott, but Sidney Prescott has her niece, so the killer's coming after her. Sidney feels like she needs to protect her. Spoilers. Her niece, Jill Roberts, played by Emma Roberts, is one of the Ghostface killers. For the sake of she wants to get the fame that Sidney Prescott had, she always felt like she was in Sidney Prescott's shadow growing up in this family. She now feels like it's her turn, her time. I mean, she's gonna frame her ex-boyfriend to be the Ghostface killer, shoots him in the crotch, I mean, that looks like a crime of passion to me. Looks very vindictive, almost like he wasn't the Ghostface killer. And it might be me making excuses for the movie, but I feel like that might actually be the point. She seems like someone who doesn't really think it through. See her attacking Sydney in the hospital. I don't buy the fact that this 75-pound girl is a Ghostface killer. I've heard the talk when the Ghostface costume comes on, it's like they're a different person, they're an entity. But they're still the person. I'm sorry. These really tiny chicks being Ghostface killers, I'm always like, I mean, granted, of course I wouldn't suspect her. The biggest things in this movie, I mean, one, this is the only Scream movie that doesn't play Red Right Hand, that iconic song in Scream. Freaks me out. But really, the biggest one for me is Scream 4 has this filter on it. Kind of looks like when a movie does noise reduction and everyone kind of looks waxy, if the color and contrast was too sharp also. It looks weird. Granted, Wes Craven directed this. The previous Scream movies don't look like this. But jumping to Scream 4 after Scream 3, it's just noticeable in terms of the Ghostface kills. The neutered violence is gone. The Ghostface killings just feel more brutal. But yeah, Scream 4's aged well. I just wish it didn't have that weird filter look on it. Number 2. After you know what number 2 is, you know what number 1's gonna be. Odds are you know what number 1's gonna be already before I even say what number 2 is. Number 2 is Scream 2. Now when I saw Scream 2 in theaters, I walked out going, first one was better. Of course the first one's better. I see people give an argument that 2 is actually better than 1. I felt 2 upped the intensity, upped the violence. I mean, violence doesn't make for a good movie, but in a Scream movie, it definitely does help. There are a couple of dumb character moments. Sure. But it's starting out with the movie within the movie set off a tradition in Scream movies that keeps to this day. Stab, the movie within the movie. Sitting in the movie theater, watching people watch a movie that's the prequel to the movie you're about to watch was actually pretty mind-melting in the 90s when Scream 2 came out. When she gets killed in that movie theater at the beginning and she just plops down and dies, seeing the light leave her eyes, it's probably the most realistic looking death in Scream. I feel like I watch someone die every time. But the rules for a sequel that Randy lists off, the body count is always bigger, the death scenes are always much more elaborate. They're alive and well in here. When Sarah Michelle Gellar dies and she gets stabbed in the back and you see the knife go into her back, I was like, there's usually a cut there. Or it's from here up and you know she's getting stabbed and the blood comes out of her mouth or something. Not here. You see the knife go into her back. Freaks me out. And Scream 2 is a specific time in Scream history. This is a thing that Scream 2 has that Scream 6 doesn't have, given the comparison of Scream 6 is to Scream 5 as Scream 2 is to Scream 1. But with the whole Core 4 camaraderie in Scream 6, I never felt like they were actually going to be Ghostface killers, so I was looking elsewhere. Becomes pretty obvious from there. Scream 2, you don't really know who the killer's gonna be. You don't know if you trust everyone enough yet. It could have been Randy. I didn't know. The Randy death pissed me off in Scream 2, but to be fair, it was effective. After Randy was killed and I got over my anger in real time, at that point I was like, anybody can die. And the Mrs. Loomis ending. When I first saw Scream 2, it felt like an ending that was just thrown in there because, well, you wouldn't see it coming, would ya? Even Mickey says as much, and no, I didn't. Of course I didn't. But it's a throwback to Mrs. Voorhees. I do really like the relationship between Mrs. Loomis and Mickey. Mickey was already a serial killer that she had found. She financed him, got him into this college by paying his tuition, and just kind of focused and harnessed his movie love to carry on the legacy of her son. Granted, she was the masked Ghostface killer as well. She's the one who killed Randy. And again, Scream always being good at having its finger on the pulse of entertainment. Mickey's motivation of, well, I'm going to blame the movies in the trial, and the trial's going to be this big thing. It's all about the trial. He's not wrong. The OJ trial in the 90s was out of this world reality TV. That might be one of the reasons Scream 4 has aged so well. It's about the social media fame being the goal, not just the movie. They're making their own found footage movie. You know, Scream has a formula to it and it can feel rinse and repeat. But these motivations are the things that make these chapters stand out as different. And I gotta say, among all the Ghostface killers, except Matthew Lillard in Scream 1, who is legendary, these two look the craziest. They both got the crazy eyes, but man, she absolutely does. And I gotta give some love to Tim. He's one of the dudes at the screenings I go to, and we talk movies. Yes, because it's fun to do. His favorite character in the Scream franchise, and yes, objectively the smartest, is Joel the camera guy. Because this dude does what no one else does. He's like, people are dying. Bye. And he leaves and he comes back at the end. Hey, guess what? I'm alive. All right, let's start filming. Cracked me up in Scream 5 when Sam Carpenter's like, I'm taking my sister and we're leaving Woodsboro. I was like, You were not the first person to try to leave the scene of a Scream movie. It wasn't Woodsboro in college, but still. Scream 2 is a proper sequel in all the right ways. Number 1. And we come to it, number 1. You know what number 1's gonna be. Scream. As in the first movie called Scream. It revitalized the slasher genre. Other movies were trying to be like Scream. I mean, Halloween H2O, you look at Halloween 4, 5, 6, it was lore building for Michael Myers. Halloween H2O took that Scream energy and was like, Halloween H2O is a teen slasher. Teen slasher with Michael Myers, and it's the best of those sequels. Funny enough, they're actually watching Scream 2 in a scene in Halloween H2O. And it's really difficult to explain what it was like being like, okay, clocking into this slasher flick in which Drew Barrymore's the star. She just died at the beginning. And now everyone who slept on Party of Five gets introduced to Neve Campbell, who to me is the absolute gold standard charismatic protagonist in a slasher flick. This was a film primed for my generation, and we ate it up. And its execution was airtight. You knew this scene right here where they're all talking and scream is the most important scene in a Scream movie. This was the scene where the movie told the audience, hey, I know you're already looking for the killer. We know that's the mystery. You know that's the mystery. But I'm telling you, you're supposed to suspect the people in this scene. You're suspecting the friends now, but the movie told you so, and it made good on that promise. And from then on, we never needed another scene like that. We would know we're supposed to suspect everybody, including the friends, from that point on. And the reveal is epic. The boyfriend, Billy Loomis, already got stabbed by the Ghostface killer. He's clean. He's obviously not it. Then he stumbles downstairs, says we all go a little mad sometimes, shoots Randy in the shoulder. And you're so shocked by it, you haven't had time to process, but wait, who stabbed him? 2 killers in Scream, before you even knew to suspect that. Granted, I didn't suspect 3 in Scream 6. Something tells me they were trying to recapture that, oh, that's one more than I thought kind of magic. But it didn't land like this. This was double the killers, double the fun. And by fun, I mean Matthew Lillard. My review, I feel like I already gushed enough about him, but probably didn't. He's so good in Scream, and finding out that portions of that madness were ad-libbed, it's just magic on screen. Stu Macher is the Ghostface killer madness that every other Ghostface killer aspires to be. But no one's ever gotten there, not really. In terms of me and my movie love, Scream is important. It is a pivotal moment in my taking in of movies. Scream was the movie that started me out on my horror movie path. Granted, we had already done Chucky Fest at this point when there were 3 of them, but this would lead to Freddy Fest, Halloween, all the rest. Scream expanded the cinematic palette of movie fans and changed the course of history within its own industry. There's so many movies that wouldn't have existed were it not for Scream. And that's why the original Scream just can't be topped. So there it is. There are my rankings of the 6 Scream movies. For me, Scream 3 is the hardest one to place. Because sometimes I'm like, yeah, I can roll with the camp of Scream 3, and maybe I'm just in the mood for the Wes Craven echelon of Scream. Scream 1 through 4, right? But other times I'm like, well, Scream 5 and 6 are more consistent than Scream 3, and I do like how harsh the Ghostface killings are in those movies. But more often than not, this is where they place. But the important takeaway, if I can stress it, is I enjoy all the Scream movies. For a franchise that's 6 installments in, 7th installment on the way, that's pretty impressive, especially in a horror franchise. I am curious about Scream 7. The remakeables were revolving around Melissa Barrera's character and Jenna Ortega, and they're not in it. They're bringing Sidney Prescott back, so okay. All right, so the Scream movies, I imagine you've seen them, but how do you rank them? Is it close to mine? Is it different? Would you swap some around? What are your favorite Ghostface killers? That's a good question. Stu Macher, I mean, top tier, S tier, God tier Ghostface killer. Yeah, I think Billy and Stu. I'll put Mickey in there. I mean, Mickey and Stu, if they were working together, absolute madness. What kind of movie would that be? Oh my God, it'd have more blood than Dead Alive. Whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.